Cubs, Brewers, NLDS. We do a deep dive on the matchup here on this edition of the CHGO Cubs related podcast. This is the CHGO Cubs related podcast. My name is Brendan. Corey, just to be upfront, his grandma's turning 90 years old. So I thought, you know what, go celebrate your grandma's birthday. I'll get Kevin Wells on here. We'll talk about this past Padres series, preview every single trend we need to follow for the upcoming series against the Brewers. And Kevin, like Corey, he was at the game yesterday. He can give the same type of feel for what it was like there in that series clinching win.
What's happening, Brendan? Great to be on with you, man. Thanks for having me on. I don't know if I can give you the exact Corey reaction, but I will certainly do my best. That man was more nervous than I think I've ever seen a human being in any type of situation ever. I mean, so I was sitting in a section over from his, and I was like, hey, man, I'm at the game. You want to meet up? He came up to me and goes, hey, I gotta do all my stuff before the game starts, but it's really good to see you. He we talked about it. He goes, go Cubs, go. He's got his earbuds in. I know he's listening to Pat on the pregame show. And you know what? At the end of the day, they got the win. But I felt so bad for Corey. I thought I was nervous going into that game. Corey was at a new level.
He's exactly who you think he would be at those games. First time I went to a Cubs game with Corey was 2016. It was game 2 of the NLCS against the Dodgers. I see him before the game. We may have said 10 words to each other the entire game. And this is not even being hyperbolic. Literally 10 words the entire game. And so if you think Corey's that nervous during the wild card series, the DS is worse, the championship series is worse, the World Series is, don't talk to him whatsoever. Like all of us. I mean, that's why in some respect, I may not want to go to playoff games because I can't handle it, dude.
It was a lot, man.
It was a lot.
Games 1 and 3, and it was a lot. I felt like I boxed 12 rounds with Mike Tyson both games. Like I left the stadium feeling just like euphoric and unbelievable. Yeah. But I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna crash. I'm exhausted. And I just sat there stressing out the whole time.
We were talking about this, Corey and I, yesterday. This is the first series win, obviously, since 2017. And it feels so much different than the DS was in 2017 for obvious reasons, right? I mean, of course, you're coming off a World Series win in 2017. But we were discussing how, in hindsight, we almost took 2017 for granted. Like the craziness of that national series. I had no idea it would be literally 8 years until we do this again. And so the feel for this series and winning this almost was like unpressuring the bottle. Finally, we can move on from some of the disappointment over the past 8 years. Finally, you have Arrieta and Anthony Rizzo coming back to Wrigley Field and moving on. And we can kind of put to bed a lot of these narratives that we've had over the past 8 years and secure and feel what it was like to win a playoff series. It was so good. And it was one of those memories where I think regardless of what happens, and, make no doubt about it, we're going to be disappointed if things don't go as we hope, but make no doubt about it as well. We will remember just that feeling of winning this series at Wrigley Field.
I don't know if is my mic on there? Sorry about that.
You're on. Yeah.
The teams could not be more different. It almost felt like the 2017 Cubs was in a similar position as the 2025 Padres, a veteran-led team with a stout bullpen, stout closer, stout rotation, guys who have been there, done that. They've been there before. They've had playoff experience. This Cubs team is young. A lot of these guys don't have playoff experience. They got a couple World Series winners. But it almost felt like this year they're kind of playing with house money, but that almost gave you even more anxiety because it's like, oh my God, if you win this series against a battle-tested Padres team, what else can this team do now? Like now it's opened up a whole new realm of possibilities. But you're right. Not closing the chapter. That chapter will always be there. But being able to now focus on a Jed Hoyer-built playoff team, a team that's built completely differently than the Theo teams, completely differently. I think that gives you hope for kind of the brand of baseball that they're going to now play. It feels like they've kind of settled into the type of team that they want to build, and it came to fruition this year, and it would have been incredibly disappointing, and we would have had a ton of questions had they not won that series. Like, is this plan actually going to kind of play out? You know, what did they do wrong? Why did they not make enough moves at the deadline? Where, you know, it would have been question after question after question. It would have felt like they didn't make the playoffs again. You know, the wild card round is a playoff series and it's important, but it would have felt, it just would have left the door open for so much more criticism and questioning and negativity that we just didn't need any more of that. And I think that was the pressure being relieved.
Yeah.
And also, you know, first playoff series win. And, you know, at home, you know, they never win playoff series at home. It was the third time ever.
I mean, what an environment it was. It brings me back to 3 years ago. And it was like, you know, a cold December morning. We heard some of the rumors that Dansby Swanson may be going to the Cubs.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, okay, what if this happens? What if they sign Dansby Swanson? Let's think crazy here for a second. You get Dansby a shortstop, Gold Glover, Nico at second base, Gold Glover. Pete Crow Armstrong hasn't played AAA yet, but let's just think crazy. What if Pete Crow Armstrong hits his peak? Well, you're talking about the best defensive center fielder, the best defensive shortstop, the best defensive second baseman. How valuable would that be? Then the thought came to me, well, that would probably be the best up the middle defense I ever see. I will die before I see a better trio play defense. The way they won that series against the Padres, like, I'll raise my hand. I did not even realize how valuable, how much of an obvious example of defensive value was in that 3-game series. I mean, 14 significant defensive plays. Dansby made 9 of those plays. I cannot think of a better example of defensive value than that entire 3-game series.
Game 1 especially, it just felt like, and yesterday he had an inning that was outstanding, the unassisted double play. But game 1, those 2 plays that he made won them the series.
Spectacular.
I mean, they came in some of the biggest moments. The Padres had finally started to figure some stuff out offensively. Somehow Dansby gets a glove on that rocket into the hole between him and third. Not only he could have just knocked it down and kept it on the infield, he got the out.
Yeah.
I mean, that ball was over 100 miles an hour off the bat. And he was playing in and kind of he was playing almost up towards second base. So had to turn his body, contort it around, dive back the opposite way, doesn't knock it down, gets a clean glove on it and makes the out. I mean, that was just an immaculate play from Dansby. And that saved a run and a huge momentum shift. And then the play in short left field was just like, come on, man, that was outstanding. That was like baseball, just euphoria. I mean, it was like, people have no idea how hard it is to make that play if you've never played the shortstop position or watched other teams other than the Cubs, and that's totally fine. But that's a play that maybe 3 shortstops in baseball can make. That is an incredibly difficult play to track that while you're looking over your head, making sure the bat out of hell in center field isn't running in on you and able to make a play and save a run. I mean,
and the bat out of hell is Pete Crow.
Yeah, Armstrong. I mean that's in the back of your mind, right? I mean, Pete was
absolutely.
Pete gave up on it, which was good, but
yeah. Well, when we start talking about the value of defense, there are times where even I struggle to contextualize the value. And so I can go back to this series and be like, hey, this is the value. There's no better example of defensive value than these 3 games. You have the Padres manager saying basically Dansby Swanson's your MVP solely because of the glove. And the way this team was built, in addition to the defense, you have to give credit to Tommy Hottovy. I don't know if you saw him because you were at the game, but when Pete made that last out, they had the camera pan to the dugout. And you know who was dead center, celebrating, going nuts? Tommy Hottovy. He's been with this team surviving, if you want to call it surviving, multiple managerial jobs. And he's been here all along, bridging the gap from the past to the present, building the pitching infrastructure we're talking about, working with new coordinators, working with new coaches, being the cog in this entire operation. He gets to celebrate his first playoff series win, doing so with non-roster invitee Brad Keller pitching significant innings, Drew Pomeranz having not pitched for 3 seasons, coming over in the middle of the year, pitching significant innings, having Daniel Palencia be that middle game weapon, that fireman. And you know who's in part responsible for all of this? It's Tommy Hottovy. And the way the Cubs win games and the way they will have to continue winning games is dependent on making those guys click. It won't just be this year, it will be next year and the year after. And the reason they're even playing the Brewers and the Brewers are playing the Cubs is because both those teams this year, well, they've made hits on those relievers. They boosted their pitching value from unexpected players. That's how you win. We can talk all about free agent money and signings, and believe me, we will. But the ability to hit on Brad Keller, make a trade for Kittredge, have Daniel Palencia, have Jameson Taillon completely revamp his repertoire, by the way. Have Javi Assad maybe pitch significant innings, which we'll get into. Have Matthew Boyd be a 190-inning guy and undervalued in the offseason. Incredible what they've done.
Yeah, and you hit it all on the head. And I think this is what I really would like to tip my cap to Tommy Hottovy and Craig early on in the year with the bullpen management. How aggressive they were. If guys didn't have it, and they looked at the data and said, it's not getting better, you're gone. Yeah. How many guys did they send up and down? How many guys are not getting opportunities that may have, there wasn't that trial and error piece. They gave them the proper amount of time, and that was it. Luke Little, perfect example. Just couldn't get it done. Maybe he will at some point, but he wasn't ready this year.
Jordan Wicks
is another one who will. I don't think he'll be on this roster, in the NLDS roster. I doubt it highly. Who did they DFA? Who was awesome for them?
Ryan Presley.
Yeah, well, Ryan Presley, and who was the earlier went to the Mets, and then the Brewers picked him up. I'm trying to remember the name, but he was their best reliever last year.
Julian Merriweather.
Julian Merriweather, thank you. The aggression and being able to pivot from guys who may have been a part of your long-term plans and being able to fill those innings, fill those outs, that's really difficult to do. And that's what separates a lot of these teams is when you're putting so many eggs in the basket of relievers. For example, the San Diego Padres, who are, paid out of their rear end for a lot of these relievers. And it's like they all pitched very well in that series. Cubs bats just, they got a couple more runs across. But when are those guys all going to repeat what they did last year? It's a lot of money. Look what happened to the Dodgers this year. The Dodgers got in trouble for big money relievers. They put so many eggs in the basket of these guys, and the Cubs never did that. The Cubs looked at it through an example of you got it or you don't, and we can find guys we know the type of bullpen that we want to build. And that's an unsung thing about the game of baseball and how you do get wins on the margins. Trigger warning. I know on the margins is a tough thing to hear, but that is so crucial. And we saw the dividends of that in this Padres series. That Padres bullpen is better than the Cubs bullpen.
Of course.
But that Cubs bullpen is right there. And that's a reason I'm feeling really good about this Brewers series, Brendan. I like the Brewers bullpen a lot. They're a little banged up in the starting rotation. I'm feeling really good about the pitching dynamic between these two teams. I know the Brewers have some arms, but I think the Cubs bullpen is consistently overlooked.
We'll get into it. Let's hit our first ad break here just to paint the picture of what the remaining 45 minutes will be. After we do the first ad break, we're going to come back around. We're going to do Brewers starting pitching matchups for Cubs hitters. Second ad break. After that, we'll do Cubs starting pitching matchups against the Brewers hitters. And then we'll finish off the remaining 15 minutes talking about like what surprises, what trends, what we're seeing recently that may be of ultimate value to win this series. Hit our first ad break. We'll come back out and continue this discussion. Bet365, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. New customers can get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, win or lose. With Bet365, if your team goes up by 17 points in football, you're a winner. Straight bets and parlays are paid instantly. Double your winnings on parlays with the Bet365 parlay boost. And for baseball, let's say your team goes 5 runs ahead. Let's say the Cubs go 5 runs ahead. Please, God, you win right away. Straight bets and parlays marked as winners instantly. So download the app and use code CHGO365 when you sign up. And breaking news from Bet365, playoff season is here. New customers get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up with code CHGO365, deposit $10, place a $5 bet, and you'll get $200 in bonus bets no matter what. Use your bonus bets on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more, whatever the moment. It is never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or over. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In-app only. And OAO applies. Toyota has 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. The RAV4 brings legendary versatility. The Grand Highlander is adult size, third row is four-wheel, and the Tacoma's wild side, that comes standard. From job size to camp size to game nights, there is an all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive Toyota to get you there in style. Find yours at toyota.com or visit your Chicagoland Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places. And hey, why not upgrade your fandom too? Become a CHGO diehard. Today, you'll get exclusive written content, a free CHGO t-shirt, discounts on merch and events, plus access to our members-only CHGO Discord lounge, where we all hang out and talk Chicago sports every single day. Go to allchgo.com for all the details and join the thousands of diehards already in our community. We cannot wait to connect with you on an ever greater level. Okay. So let's start here. Brewers starting pitching matchups against the Cubs hitters. We know Freddy Peralta will likely be the first game. We have Quinn Priester be the second game, the third game to be announced. Kevin, what is your first reaction when you see the starting pitchers from Milwaukee? Do you feel, just as a reference, more confident against them than you did against San Diego?
Yeah, I do. It's a different pitching staff. It's a different type of pitching staff that they're going to deal with. Now, Quinn Priester's been a revelation for the Brewers. He's a big reason they went on that 15-game win streak and ended up taking the division. But the Cubs have been able to get to him. So he's a guy that I'm circling and that I'm not over concerned about. I was much more concerned about the Game 2 starter in Dylan Cease for the San Diego Padres. Freddy Peralta, different animal, Brendan. I mean, this guy's enjoying probably his best ever season in the big leagues. He was a 5.5 B-WAR player this year, and he was just absolutely lights out at home. The Cubs aren't going to be able to throw Cade Horton at him. Cade Horton's going to miss this entire series, and you're going to go with a guy on short rest. So the Peralta matchup freaks me out a little bit. He really owned the Cubs this year. I mean, and at home, under a 200 batting average, had 108 strikeouts, and only gave up a run a game. He had 17 starts at home and only 18 earned runs. So he knows how to pitch there. He's been doing it for a long time. He knows this Cubs lineup very well. Pitched against them 4 times this year. So I think advantage Freddy Peralta for a lot of reasons. Now, if you want to get to him, there is a little bit of an in to Freddy. He tends to struggle early on with the long ball. His first 25 pitches or so of the game, that's when he tends to give up his most home runs. What do the Cubs need to win ball games? They need to hit home runs. When they hit 2 more home runs, their odds of winning games this season was over 70%. So trying to get the ball over the fence, easier said than done on Freddy Peralta, who's a guy who really is great at run prevention. He's great in big spots. He's a pretty clutch pitcher this year. All of his numbers look great, even with guys on base. So he's dynamite. He is an ace. He was an all-star. I think 2021, his strikeout rate was a little bit higher as a starter. So you've seen that strikeout rate dip just a touch, but he's still that same electric guy who's going to get Cy Young votes at the end of the season. No doubt about it.
So let's look at what he throws. So I'm going to show a graph of the 3 starting pitchers, at least on Fangraphs depth charts, who are listed number 1, number 2, number 3. On the far left, you see Freddy Peralta's stuff. And the big takeaway from all of these dots here that you see from Peralta is just a dynamic profile. You're going to see his fastball has some cut ride, and in many respects, it looks a lot like we saw from Nick Pivetta and Dylan Cease. Then you see a tight slider at 84 miles per hour. You also see a curveball underneath the slider and a changeup. So what does this all mean? This means, you have a dynamic profile against lefties and righties. What are you going to see when Michael Busch is batting? You're likely going to see essentially all 4 pitch types. You can fade Busch with a changeup. You can go up with a 4-seam fastball. You can go at the hip with a tight slider, or you can go down low in the dust with a curveball. Now, against righties with Peralta, you're not going to see the changeups. So let's say Nico Hoerner's batting. You're going to see a heavy dose of fastballs. You're going to see mostly sliders and curveballs to Nico Hoerner. The best way to do damage, I think, is you jump some of those curveballs. So let me paint a picture for you. It's an optimistic one. Let's say you have Pete Crow Armstrong. He's feeling good about himself. And let's say Freddy Peralta is trying to dust him off with the curveball. You know who's going golfing that day is Pete Crow Armstrong. We've seen him many times golf those curveballs out. That was what I thought we could see when he was facing Nick Pivetta. Ultimately, he struck out multiple times. Did not work, right? But what we saw from Pete in the last game was him anticipating 100 miles per hour, 3 base hits, all line drives, right? If he's feeling locked in and he recognizes curveball out of the hand, and even if it's below the zone, maybe he's going to barrel up. We can see that. Say Suzuki, let's say you can jump on that 4-seam fastball. That's a mistake pitch. He did that against the Padres. Well, that's how you can beat Freddy Peralta as well. But the name of the game against Peralta is hitting mistake pitches, but being aware that there's more diversity in the pitch types and what they saw against San Diego. Do you have like one batter in particular against Peralta where you're like, oh, this is a good matchup? Or are you just kind of just praying that they hit their mistake pitches?
I don't know. For me, this Cubs team, and you would know this better than I would, but from a general perspective, and this was evident against Pivetta and Cease, and it was evident against power pitchers this season, this team really struggled to hit fastballs up in the zone this year.
Yeah.
So if that's a trend that I'm sure is circled on Peralta's scouting report, I'm going to want the Cubs to be aggressive early because, like I said, he gives up more home runs early in games than other times, and he gives up leadoff home runs and things like that. That can happen. So, but for guys like Pete Crow Armstrong, I'm kind of going to base my opinion on that, on how he played in Game 3. I thought the 2-strike approach was excellent, and it looked so much more – he just looked like so much more ready for the moment against fastballs. He's the guy who can pull a 100-mile-an-hour fastball over the fence. We saw him do it against Hunter Green this year.
Yep.
But everybody else on that team seems to struggle with the high heat. So this team knows how to take pitches. Peralta doesn't walk a lot of guys. So that's why I'm going to urge I'm going to urge you to be a little bit more aggressive early on because I don't think you're going to get many walks from him in his home park. It just doesn't really happen. It hasn't happened this year. So
Carson Kelly, so the high fastball, his home run in Game 1, high fastball off Pivetta. Say Suzuki's home run was on a mislocated fastball. look at Kyle Tucker. So Kyle Tucker may not have had the, sparkly series, but he was jumping 99, 100 miles per hour in at his hands. And honestly, he was getting around on those pitches. Again, I know he didn't have like a very standout series. Some of the contact may have looked weak, but it was different than what we saw in August and September before he kind of broke out, where he was getting around on the ball. Now, I was listening to Ron Coomer on the radio broadcast for some of the game, and he was noticing that. He's like, oh, Tucker's kind of jumping these pitches. So you talk about high fastball. Well, we just had Carson Kelly go yard off a high fastball. Pete Crow Armstrong was hitting high fastballs. Michael Busch, that home run you just saw against Suarez, 98 miles per hour at his wrist, right? So they have the capacity to hit those high fastballs. It's a matter of like expectations and working the at-bat where you can kind of just not luck your way into it, but you increase the odds of like clicking and locating that high fastball.
Well, that's good to hear. And honestly, the Tucker thing, and I'll focus on him for a moment. He never looked, I would agree with the jumpy. He never looked, though, super uncomfortable up there, which I thought was great. No. You can miss a ton of games and still swing and look comfortable.
Honestly, I'm not going to say he looked like good, but there were many swings where he looked like himself. In that game 3, base hit to the right side, that line drive to right field, that was what we saw from Tucker. When Morahan was out there was a home run against the Diamondbacks earlier in the year. Forgot what lefty it was, but he threw like a fastball inside to Tuck, and Tucker just hit the hell out of the ball.
That was the go-ahead homer, right, in April?
It was. He had another one in Chase Field as well. I think it was 2 different ones. Okay. And it was almost like the image came back to me because he got around on it. He just missed it. So the swings, I think, look pretty good. So I was left away with Tucker wanting more, don't get me wrong, but not coming away from that series thinking, oh my God, he looks like what he did in mid to late August.
And I felt that way about most of the lineup, Tucker especially, and I really enjoyed again, if you're getting hits with 2 strikes, that tells me you're in a good place. And Tucker did that yesterday.
That's a good point.
He had a 2-strike hit to the opposite way. He hit it off the hands. I think he was down 1-2 or 0-2 and fought it off and put a pretty good swing on it inside out to the right side or to the left side. So I thought
same with Pete, that bloop line drive to knock in the first run. Yep.
So that tells me that you're in a pretty good place. And I feel like most of the lineup, there weren't any swings that were like, oh, whoa, he's not even close. Happ had a couple, but then he turned it on and was fine. And he hits these valleys sometimes, so it's not like I'm going to be concerned about it. I thought the meat of the lineup and the guys you needed to play, PCA had a couple bad ones in the first game.
The first game, he was all over the place.
But I didn't feel –
that's who Pete is.
There was nothing concerning and out of the ordinary from the lineup that I'm worried about going into this Brewers series. There's really not.
And dude, Busch looks locked in.
Scoring. What's that?
Busch looks locked in too.
Yeah.
Like even like the outs he's making, I'm like, oh, he just missed it. Like he had 2 warning track fly balls. So I'm like, oh my God, a different day. The wind's blowing out. That's gone.
And when you're getting contributions from Nico consistently in the 2-hole, and with Busch locked in and Tucker swinging the bat, well, there's really nobody there's not a lineup change that I would really alter. Maybe you move Seiya up, but that was fine still having Happ there. I think that's why I'm so confident going into this Brewers series. They didn't score a lot of runs in San Diego, but it's kind of like that Reds series. I thought they played 4 really good games. They got swept, but I thought the offense was there. The at-bats weren't like horrendously bad to where they looked lost like they did in early August. I think most of this lineup is ready to go, and they know these Brewers pitchers really well. And they hit Quinn Priester really well. They hit Jose Quintana really well historically.
Yeah.
Freddy Peralta's the X factor. You can find a way to get to him early tomorrow. That can set you up for a huge series.
Agree. Let me show just the remaining 2 graphs for the starting pitchers. Do a quick ad break on come back around, talk about Boyd and the starting pitchers for the Cubs. But just to finish up on the discussion about the Brewers pitchers, and to your point about Quinn Priester, well, what does he throw? He is one of those pitchers who's not going to throw any four-seam fastballs. So let's say you're watching a game. What do you expect? If you're a righty, expect a sinker at your hip every single pitch. And if he's not throwing a sinker, you are at the whim of a cutter, slider, or curveball. You have 3 pitches that go up and down away from you. It will be difficult. So he's one of those pitchers who the Cubs frankly don't see often, and he will be difficult to hit. Now, let's say the third game, we'll see what happens there. Maybe it is Quintana, maybe someone we're not talking about. Let's say it is Chad Patrick. He's been in, not Iowa, but AAA off and on. He's like Jason Mott. I remember Jason Mott for 2015 and starting pitching for him. No changeups, no sliders, no curveballs. You're getting a heavy dose of fastballs, whether it be a cutter, four-seam, or sinker. That matchup would be interesting. I could see the Cubs just making a ton of contact, working that pitch count up. Those are your 3 guys. Let's do the ad break here, come back around, talk about the starting pitching matchups that the Cubs have against Milwaukee. 4 Seasons heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electric. Winter will be here before you know it. Is your home's heating up for the challenge? Do you have a plumbing emergency? Well, you can call 4 Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. If you have an electrical emergency, guess what? Call 4 Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. If you need a new hot water tank installed today, call 4 Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Now is the time to schedule your 4 Seasons furnace tune-up. At 4 Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric, we guarantee same-day installation for heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical, and generator needs with no extra charge for nights, weekends, or holidays. Check out the other offers too. You can save up to $4,000 on furnaces and comfort systems. And call today to save $50 instantly with your trusted local experts. Your trusted local experts are 4 Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit 4seasonsheatingcooling.com for all your special offers and money savings coupons. Again, that's 4seasonsheatingcooling.com. All right, let's be real for a second. The world's gone soft. Everyone gets a trophy for just showing up. Everything needs to be bubble wrapped. Everything needs to be just right. Soda or pop used to have some kick. Now it's all about pretty colors and easy fizz, but here's the truth. RC Cola is not just a soft drink, it's just damn good cola. It's the original cola that does not fold under pressure. RC is an OG cola in a world of spineless soft drinks. No trends, no gimmicks, no glow-ups. RC has not changed its stripe since 1905 because it didn't need to. It's the same bold, crisp flavor as always been. RC Cola tastes like a punch in the thirst. Grab one, crack it open, and remember what real cola tastes like. RC Cola, just damn good cola. Okay. The game 1 starter for the Cubs is Matthew Boyd. Matthew Boyd off 3 days rest. He was warming up in the bullpen in game 3 against the Padres. We may have seen him, who knows? But the first thought that comes to mind with Matthew Boyd is, whoa, 3 days rest. This is a pitcher who did not look as particularly best in the remaining 6 weeks of the season. First reaction from you, Kevin. What do you think about Matthew Boyd in game 1?
I don't love it. I don't love it. And I'm a Craig Counsell. I agree with Craig on 99% of his moves. I'm one of those people in Twitter mentions saying, why are you hating on Craig Counsell so much? Like I am a believer in the numbers, and I'm surprised that this is their first move.
Do you have a preference who would have pitched game 1 other than Boyd? Were you thinking of someone else?
Yeah, I think I probably would have started with Colin Ray, or Javier Assad, 2 fresher arms, but I don't want people to take this out of context and say, oh my God, he hates the move. No, I don't hate the move. I don't hate it. Matthew Boyd has been their most consistent arm this season. He's been awesome. He had a rough September. He kind of had his last start of the regular season was good. Game 1 of the postseason, he looked pretty good. So there was a little bit more hard contact than I would have wanted to, a little bit less swing and miss than I would have wanted to see. I'm just surprised because the way Jed and Craig have operated last year and this year is with incredible certainty and delicacy with these pitchers. I'm just surprised that they're going with him on 3 days rest when you could give him a full 5 days in game 2 and go with a fresh arm. But maybe this is about the bullpen being used so much in game 3 that you want to see how, and Boyd only he threw less than 60 pitches in game 1. Maybe this is, let's see if he can get us 5. He's our most consistent guy. He works fast. He's been in these moments before. He's our best opportunity to win a game against a guy who's not going to give up many runs on the other side. Maybe that's their form of thinking. There's got to be some sort of number statistic behind this. And if I heard it from them, and that's why, if I heard that reasoning, maybe we'll hear it tomorrow from Craig. Maybe I can get on board with it. But for now, my gut reaction is, man. I would have waited. I would have waited till game 2. What do you do you agree with me? Do you think that's just kind of a meatball-y armchair take? I don't know.
I understand why Boyd is going. If you have to really push me to make a decision, I would have gone with Boyd in game 1 as well.
Okay.
Here's the reason why. First and foremost is 3 days rest coming off an outing in which he only threw 58 pitches. It's not a full workload on the previous game.
Right.
Number 2, the reserve arms, they are rested. So for all we know, this is a 3-game burst for Matthew Boyd. You talked about Colin Ray. The pitch types that Milwaukee crushes are 4-seam fastballs, splitters, and sliders. Let me just paint this picture, okay? So let's look at changeups. On the left is every single Brewers batter run value against a changeup or a splitter. Most of it is red. Jackson Churriel, red. Christian Yelich, red. Sal Frelick, red. Andrew Vaughn, red. Let's look at the 4-seam fastball. Most of it's red. So you just negated 50% of Colin Ray's pitches in the first inning. Now, that's one potential explanation of not going to Colin Ray in the first inning. With Matthew Boyd, it's also not really a good matchup either.
I think you can. Doesn't he throw a lot of 4-seam fastballs and sliders?
He does, which makes it not a particularly good matchup. Mm-hmm. That being said, what are your other options? Do you want to go with a righty to the lefty version of this lineup, or a lefty who was your ace for the majority of the year to the righty-lefty portion of this front end of the lineup? Those are really your 2 options. You can squint and think, okay, maybe Javi Assad should go with maybe the first game, but again, there's some uncertainty there given Assad's recent ramp up. I think the way that Craig's going to operate is give Boyd the chance, and if there is any inkling of danger, I'm talking first inning, second inning, you're pulling the Yu Darvish, Mike Schilt removal, and you're bringing in another pitcher right away. And maybe to your point, it is Colin Ray, or maybe it is Javi Assad.
Another thing that popped into my head too, who are the first 2 batters in that Brewers lineup? Their 2 most dangerous hitters. Sal Frelick and Christian Yelich, lefties.
Right. So then
that could be playing a numbers game, and maybe it is a sprint. I think the reason I'm surprised, Brendan, is because the wild card is a full-on 100-meter dash. Outs, outs, outs. I don't care who pitches. We need to win 2 games. The NLDS it's slower. You got to win 3 games. You're going to need more arms. They had 14 hitters on the wild card roster. They're not going to have 14. They're going to have 13 and 13 coming up here in the DS. Almost a guarantee they're going to add another pitcher because you're playing more innings. You're playing more games. I think with the number, part of me says have a fully rested Matthew Boyd for game 2 so you can let him loose. But I also see the part where this is going to be the hardest game to win. This is the guy we trust the most since we can't throw Cade Horton out there. He's not ready. He wouldn't have been ready. He's on the IL. He wouldn't have been ready until game 5. So part of me understands that. and having the two lefties and Sal Frelick and Christian Yelich, the two best contact hitters in the lineup right off the bat. If you can get through one inning with those guys, that tends to make sense to me. And you're right. Soroka, Savale, who knows the Brewers very well, was just in the organization for a couple of months there, fully rested and ready to go. So he's going to have some options in there should he get in trouble, because the Cubs' high leverage relief arms were used a lot in the San Diego series, but they've had a full day now to rest, and it does seem to me that it will be a piggyback situation. Because he threw 58 pitches, right? So where are you going to have a specific plan in place to pull him out? Is there a pitch limit? Is there a watermark of danger that Craig automatically starts thinking about? Like, I'm really, really curious in his thinking here and how he chooses to deploy Boyd tomorrow.
Did you hear how he talked? Did you hear how he talked today? He says, we're going to see how these guys throw today and then make our decisions and then make our plans. You talked about fatigue and all of that. They have ways to measure this now. So they can measure, okay, what is your fatigue level compared to what we should expect from 3 days or 5 days? Is there any type of similarity of 4 or 5 days rest that you're showing in just your 3 days? And you take the honest feedback from the player. You look at some of like the biomechanics, which they've invested so much on. And the decision is, well, do we want to throw Shota and Boyd in game 1 and game 2, or wait to have Boyd in game 2 and Shota in game 3? So then you start thinking, okay, well, I have 18 innings. Do I want to wait to throw Shota in innings 19 to 27?
Right. And that's a
right?
whole, it feels wrong to do that.
It feels wrong. You've gotten to this point. I know that's dangerous to say, but your most productive arms this year have been Boyd and Shota at the volume limit. So if you throw Colin Ray in game 1 because you're just not comfortable with the precedent, but you're also having, feedback and your investment in some of like the quality, health metrics say you're fine, well then I'm going to go with the guy who's pitched 190 innings of quality bull. I think that's the way they're looking at this.
I can't think of another way they would be looking at it through, because we've kind of gone through all the situations and we've kind of gone through the guys who might be available. And the Javier Assad thing maybe makes sense, but at the same time, if kind of almost talking myself in circles here, if I had to put Javier Assad out there in game 1 of a division rival series, I'm just not sure how I feel about that either.
Right.
Like, I like Javier Assad. I like him. I think he's a quality arm. But at that point, Matthew Boyd is a stronger arm, and you're facing more lefties in the first inning. So,
and again,
that makes sense to me.
It becomes a point of damage control. So let's say Boyd comes out there and he looks like he looked against Milwaukee, 8 weeks ago, where he was not looking good in Milwaukee. You ramp up that bullpen fast. And so let's say you're in the third batter and Boyd looks awful. Javi, get up. You got 5 minutes to get ready. Yeah. You're going in. So you can have both ways. You can still risk and have that gamble of your best pitcher throwing. And in the back of your mind, your second plan, your plan B is Colin Ray or Javi Assad to mitigate damage. I think that's what we're going to see. That's what my gut tells me we're going to see.
I would agree with you, and I think that will put more pressure on the offense in this series, because the Brewers have the luxury of setting up everything the way they want to.
Yeah.
That's the price you get for winning the division. That is the added incentive. You can set everything up the way you want to. So they're going to do that, and the Cubs are going to have to be managing a much tighter way. So, but that can also be twisted in the positive. The Cubs have played 3 really intense baseball games this week and are already locked in that mindset and know what it takes to win, because they just won 2 games against, in my opinion, the second best team in the National League, the San Diego Padres.
Yeah.
I think the Padres were better than the Dodgers this year. I think they're better than the Brewers. I thought they were better than the Cubs. I think the Phillies are the only team that were better than the Padres this year. So the Cubs have played in these games now. So that's the other way you can look at this if you want to be optimistic and look at it through that lens. But pitching-wise, Boyd's going to go game 1. Game 2, before we get to the ad break, do we have another ad break?
Probably, yeah, we do. But probably Shota. We'll get to it, but probably Shota.
Would you start Shota or would you do the opener again?
Whatever, I don't care. Shota's going to be pitching 5 innings. So whether that's in the first or second, I don't care. And then you have Tyone maybe on Monday, right?
Yeah, I think Tyone's game 3 for sure. The way he's pitched at Wrigley and the way he looked again, I think that
it would be short rest too. So it'd be, what is it? Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So 3 days rest for Tyone on Monday. So similar discussion we're having right now. So, we'll see. You win the first 2 games, then that decides what you do for game 3, vice versa. You lose 1, win 1, lose 2. It changes how you approach game 3. So I think for the first 2 games, you're getting Shota and you're getting Boyd, and then you start to react accordingly. All right. Last ad break here. Finish up, talk about some of the remaining matchups and just what we hope to see and expect, and maybe some surprises this NLDS. But let's take our ad break here and talk about our lovely sponsors. First of which is CHSN. Chicago Sports Network is the official TV and streaming home of the Blackhawks, Bulls, and White Sox, broadcasting over 300 live games per year. CHSN offers the all-access plan for $29.99 a month that gives you access to all games and programming on the network, and individual team plans are for $19.99 a month that gives you access to the games of the team you select. You can sign up to watch CHSN at chsn.com, or you can watch via the CHSN app, which you can download on Apple and Android services, Amazon Fire TV, Roku, and Samsung TV. CHSN is also available on Xfinity, DirecTV, DirecTV Stream, and Fubo. Visit chsn.com for more details. Hey, coaches, listen up. If you're looking for more athletes to train, Eye on the Ball is where you need to be. It's simple. Create your profile, upload your background check, and boom, you are in. Right now, we've got a new promo for coaches. Your first 6 months are free. After that, just $50 a month or $500 for the year. That means athletes of all ages and all sports can find you directly. Here's the best part. Eye on the Ball doesn't mess with your schedule, your payments, or your business. You are in full control. We just connect you with athletes who are already looking for a coach like you. So if you're ready to grow your coaching business and reach more athletes, do not wait. Check it out now at eyeontheball.net. That's eyeontheball.net. The athletes are already there. Go meet them today. Again, that is eyeontheball.net. Okay, so here's what we have. A 5-game series. We know for sure Matthew Boyd is game 1. We're assuming Shota Imanaga for bulk in game 2. Game 3 will be just a matter of how those first 2 games go. So I posed a question to you. In your dream scenario that still has some semblance of reality, how do you believe the Cubs, in the most optimistic sense, can approach these 2 games?
Most optimistic sense,
but still some like realism, not like 20-0 over here, but like based on what you see.
Tomorrow's going to be tough.
Yeah,
it is really hard.
It is.
It's going to be really difficult. I don't have a good feeling about facing Freddy Peralta.
Yeah,
but there is something to be said about too much rest for starting pitchers too. I want to keep that in mind. The Cubs are going to have a home atmosphere up in Milwaukee. We know this. It's going to be a raucous crowd. That ballpark is bigger than Wrigley. It can fit a few thousand more people in it. It's going to be raucous. If they can take game 1 tomorrow, which I think is possible, because I think the Brewers bullpen is solid, but it's nowhere near the quality of the Padres bullpen.
So just McGill, their closer, McGill, he just came back from injury, and just to go off your point, his most recent outing, throwing 3 miles per hour slower than what we saw for many months.
Not good, and it's something to keep your eye on.
Yep.
The other thing with the Brewers offense, They single you to death. They don't hit a lot of home runs. They are near the bottom of the league in barrel percentage this year. That's a huge knock against them. And I don't want that to go overlooked here. Everybody watching and listening to this show. We know how much home runs mean in the postseason. The Cubs may not have been in the postseason the last few years, but we've all sat here and watched these games. The Brewers, if you can keep them in the park and out-homer your opponent, you're going to have a great chance to win this series. That's why I think I'm feeling really confident about winning this series. Because this Cubs offense right now, as we said earlier in the show, they're hitting the ball again. They didn't score a lot of runs in that Padres series against an elite staff. But there's no at-bats that are scaring me, and guys are hitting. And you have Seiya hit home runs. He's hit a lot of home runs in the last week. Michael Busch. I mean, there's a lot of reasons for optimism and to believe that the Cubs have a far more superior offensive output than the Brewers do this series. So that's why I'm feeling really good about this series. I think the Cubs will win it in 4. I don't know. Now, tomorrow's a big one. You win game 1, 72% of the teams who win game 1 in National League Division Series history go on to win the series. That percentage is even higher for teams at home. That doesn't mean it always will happen. And with the Cubs and Brewers, these two teams know each other very well. It's not going to be a sweep one way or the other. One team is going to get a game. But man, the Cubs have momentum on their side. They have Wrigley North on their side. They have an offense that looks to be putting together some really good at-bats on their side. And they just beat a really damn good baseball team. I'm feeling pretty good, and I think you should be too.
In my optimistic sense, I'm trying to bite my teeth into something that I can really hold on to. And what I'm coming away with, maybe a realistic chance of happening, is jumping on those fastballs. San Diego, Nick Pivetta, Dylan Cease, they have similar fastball shapes as Peralta. So as a matter of volume, recency, repeatability, the Cubs are entering a game where they will see the third starting pitcher with a similar fastball shape. Naturally, your body reacts. We saw a hint of that with P. Crow Armstrong in game 3. We saw a hint of that with Kyle Tucker in game 3 as well. We've already seen Carson Kelly go yard on that pitch type. Seiya Suzuki's hitting balls down the lines, hitting balls out of the ballpark. That is what I'm trying to grasp onto as the biggest sense of optimism. The biggest sense of pessimism is that Peralta is the guy who he's been for the majority of his last 3 seasons. And then in addition to that, baseball in 5-game series, really anything can happen. So all of the talk you and I are having right now about, shapes,
right, might not mean a damn thing.
It may not mean a damn thing. And the way the Padres series worked out, for me, the very last out he made was hit 100 miles per hour straight up to planet Mars. If that ball is hit 10 degrees lower, that ball's going over the ballpark. He had the exit velo. He just missed it. And we're not even having this discussion right now. This is truly the stupidest sport in America. In football, when you go into playoffs, the better team more times than not wins. Basketball, the entire regular season, basically spring training, you get into the playoffs, and then you just have those, most of the times those juggernaut superstars get you through. In baseball, you get to the playoffs and you hope, oh God, please let the ball go my way. In baseball, the goal for the front offices, as they have said, is to make the playoffs 80% of the time, 4 times in 5 seasons, 8 times in 10 seasons, because they know once you get to the playoffs, crazy stuff happens. And so the way the Cubs are playing, maybe their momentum has that craziness go on their side. And maybe everything we're talking about does lend them to winning these games. But I'm never confident. And that's not a cop-out. I think it's absolutely dumb to be confident going into a playoff series. I really do. You can't convince me otherwise. I mean, all the betting lines are like plus 100, minus 115.
Even if you're the Dodgers playing the Reds.
The Dodgers nearly lost to the Padres last season, right? They almost got bounced in a bullpen game against the Padres in Game 4.
If I was the Dodgers in this series playing the Reds, though, I would have been pretty damn confident. I'm just gonna tell you, I would have been pretty damn confident.
I have Dodgers friends, Kevin. They were not confident. Okay. So you talk about us in following our warts on this team. Oh my God. You would think Roberts was the worst manager in the league over the past 10 years, right? Yeah. Like everyone follows their team and they think their team is doomed because they're looking at it every single day. This is the sport. This is what we signed up for. If I could go back in time, I would not let my family make me watch baseball. This has been the worst thing for my health. I would not. I love it and I hate it. I love it and I hate it. I have been the least productive I have been this week in the past 10 years. Like I can't focus on anything but this stupid team. Like I think I'm actually getting sick, like legitimately physically ill because of this team this week.
Did you wake up in the middle of the night at all before Game 1? I woke up 3 times.
Dude, I texted Corey this. I'm like, this is after Game 1. I'm like, I had a dream the Cubs lost Game 2 and Pete Armstrong hit a home run in Game 3. I have what do you call it? Not to do a free ad here. I have what's called a whoop. You know, a whoop?
Yeah.
Heart rate through the roof, up 3 beats per minute during the night. It says I'm on high stress.
Like, oh my God. Yeah, we're all the same, man. We really are all sick individuals. You, me, really Corey, the whole CHGO Cubs crew. I mean, it's fun. It is there is so much to this game that will frustrate you to ends you never thought possible. But boy, those highs are high, man.
Dude, when Pete caught that last out yesterday,
that was awesome.
It's like the biggest sense of relief and euphoria you can possibly get, man. Like
I was sitting amongst 7 people whom I've never met yesterday. 4 season ticket holders in front of me. Hugged all of them. Had a 12-year-old boy who played travel baseball. We were talking about baseball the whole game. His dad was right there. Hugged both of them. Hugged these 2 other guys who were Mets fans right next to me. Wrigley Field, man. Wrigley Field in the postseason, there's nothing like it. I mean, I got to experience it for the first time this week, and it was incredible. And the highs are high, and I think that they're going to be even higher in this series because of what this rivalry has become. And the Craig Counsell caveat, he'll downplay it all he wants. Him and Murphy will downplay that all they want to.
Yeah.
It means a lot.
Oh, yeah.
The Cubs fired their manager to hire this guy.
Oh, yeah.
This guy lives in Whitefish Bay still. He goes to the grocery store with Brewers fans in the offseason. Don't tell me that this series will not mean something. There is a lot on the line here. And I think the Cubs are built for it. And it's a silly sport. They're going to have a lot's going to have to go their way in this series. There's no doubt about it. But there's a lot going for them right now, too. And sometimes it can be hard to notice that when, God, the pain we are going through in the second half, to start the second half, I mean, it was tough. But being able to really look at 162 and say, what kind of a team do I have? And am I confident in this team in the postseason? This week should prove to you why this team has a shot.
Yeah. No doubt. We'll do a little bit of overtime here. Sean, I think hit the overtime button now. I don't want to go overtime. We're in extra innings. I don't know why we do it overtime. We're in extra innings. Just a few extra minutes over. What I will also say is these moments, these playoff moments, the wild card series win, I'm so sick that I track time based on how good the Cubs are. So I put myself in 2003. I'm like, oh yeah, 2003 Cubs, Marlins, all that nonsense. 2004 is disappointment. 2007 the D-back against Swept. 2008 the Dodgers. My life timeline is the Cubs. And so these, I swear to God, these moments so they're burned into our brains. Like we will remember that wild card series win. We will remember for better or for worse this Brewers series. I still remember exactly what I was wearing in Jake Arrieta's game against the Pirates. I still remember exactly my reaction when they beat the Cardinals in that NLDS following. I can tell you, like, I feel the exact same way, the exact motions. I can bring back those emotions the entire October of 2016. And so as we're going through this now, what I try to like really tell myself as we're going to enter game one tomorrow, that first pitch, just like embrace it, man. That nerve, those nerves, like that's what it's all about. Feeling those nerves, because every game we watch from 1 to 162, waking up at 3 a.m. to watch the games in Japan, talking about this game in February for spring training. We're doing shows every single day almost. Corey and I've done the podcast literally weekly for almost over 10 years, 11 years now. It's for moments like this. Don't let it don't let it go past you. Enjoy that first pitch. Enjoy some of those anxiety-riddled moments. And honestly, I'm kind of projecting and talking to the mirror because I'm a nervous mess and I kind of hate it, to be honest with you at times. But like, you really do to take a step back and appreciate just how alive you feel watching these games.
And it's truly special to do it in the city that this team plays in. I mean, I know you have been to Wrigley, and I know you know what that atmosphere is like. And I know many of our followers who are listening to the show right now. It is just, it's hard to put into words how lucky we are.
No, here's the thing. I'm from Chicago, Buffalo Grove, right? Moved to the West Coast. I've been in multiple baseball cities, lived in multiple baseball cities. Let me tell you, without a doubt, Wrigleyville has something special, tangible. When I went back in 2016 to go to the NLCS, I'm walking through the neighborhoods. I'm like, man, why the hell did I ever move away? Right? Every time I go back there, I'm like, I should just move back. And it's like principally because of the Cubs, like the type of energy Cubs fans give off talking with you. Like you and I, Kevin, we've met a few times, right? I feel like we've known each other for a long time.
Once or twice in person.
Yeah,
I think
right. But like we have that type of connection, right? And it's true, like the shared like baseball trauma. It's so weird, but there's something truly special about the Cubs. It's like such a significant part of like everyone's identities there. It's absurd.
I was walking to the game on Tuesday. I live in Lincoln Park, so it's about a 45-minute walk to the stadium from where I'm at. So I like to do that walk a lot on the weekends. And I did my same walk, all my superstitious stuff, same my jersey, everything. And I think my favorite part was seeing all of the older guys. A couple guys had radios on their front lawns.
Love it.
They were in there, mowing their lawns and watering their grass. They all had Cub stuff on, and they saw me just walking through, and we all waved, and we're like, we need this one today. Let's get it. Like, that doesn't happen everywhere. I'm here to tell you, I lived in Milwaukee for 6 years. They love their Brewers. That's a passionate fan base. It is. But they don't have the history and the true passion that, man, Cubs fans, we've just seen so much more. And that team is hungry. They haven't made it through the DS the last couple of years. But I'm here to tell you, man, it's watching games and playoff games in Wrigley Field was something I'll never forget. And I was there for a lot of those Blackhawks playoff runs, and I went to a lot of those games at the UC, and they're fun, and it's great. But this is it's a Cubs town, man. Like, it really is. And I think that I can't. It's just so fun being around it. I can't really explain how much I enjoy. Even yesterday, I had my favorite Wrigley Field story. I ran down after the fifth inning to use the bathroom, and then the bathroom attendant looked at the line, looked at me, and goes, "VIPs only." And because he saw the look on my face, he knew I needed to get back up.
I
don't know. Just maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. I love Wrigley Field, man. I love this fan base. I love the passion of this fan base. And winning a series at home, I thought about my grandfather and all these games we used to go to when the Cubs were losers, and that was their thing. And now they're not losers anymore.
Oh, man.
Yeah, these games mean a lot, and everything has changed. And I want everybody to keep that same energy.
Yeah, man. It's just like this is what it's about. I mean, again, this is what 2003, 2007, 8, 15, 16, 17. I mean, like you can count how many times have been in the playoffs on our hands, and we've watched thousands of games. And so, like I'm reminded of myself. You talk about radios. You just sneak in pocket TVs to class. Pocket TVs. This is before iPhones. This is before even playing games in your calculator. You just sneak in pocket TVs to class to watch Cubs games. Go to the library, watch game day. I never watched the games on TV. I had to watch it on game day because I moved when I was like 8, 9-year-old kid. So these are such integral moments. And one of my last thoughts before we sign off is I'm so happy that the next kind of face to lead this wave is Pete Crow Armstrong. One of my favorite things to watch lately is how kids my age, when I got into baseball, react to Pete, and like seeing their reactions in the stands or on the stadium. Like, oh my, like that was me. And then Pete embraces it. I'm like, oh, like baseball's in good shape. Like the Cubs are in good shape. Like, and a lot of that is driven by how Pete interacts with everyone. I'm so happy that not only that are the Cubs good, but they genuinely have someone to like bring in fans like you and I were when we were 11, 12 years old.
Everywhere I've gone this summer, non-Cubs related, bar, community pool, whenever I saw 12-year-old kids out playing ball at the park, whatever park I would go to if I'm on a run or if I'm on a walk, whatever it is, I can't tell you how many times I just heard guys yelling, like kids just yelling in between. Look at this catch. I'm like Pete. I'm not making that up.
Right?
Like,
I know you're
not.
To
get in the pool.
I know you're not.
All these kids have their baseball gloves that they're all talking about Pete.
It's amazing.
And he's done an excellent job with this, and I hope that we can eventually have him on the show to talk to him, because he just seems like just such an excellent human being and someone that is going to take this team to new heights. I don't know if it'll be this season. I don't know. He hasn't had his playoff moment yet. I don't know if it will come this year, but it will. I can confidently tell you that he's done everything the right way, and you're right. I'm happy for him that he's not letting the moment get too big for him. First 2 games sucked, and he comes out and has 3 hits yesterday. And he said, whatever. If that were me, I would have been mad up on the podium. I would have been like, yeah, man, I suck, and I got to do something different. And he just channeled it perfectly. I love the kid's awesome. I love
those are the marks of professional hitters, and a lot of that is because of Justin Turner and newly acquired Cub Carlos Santana.
Need a new mug too, Pete. So
I need a new banner right there.
Yeah,
need a new banner. Let's wrap up here. Kevin, thanks for filling in for Corey. We'll be back next Thursday. Hopefully we win that game 1. If we don't win game 1, God help us all. We'll get through Sunday, come back on Monday, hopefully win game 2. If we don't win game 2, I may not go to work those next couple of days, but hopefully we can come back around and win game 3. Thank you for listening. We'll be with you next week. As always, go Cubs.
We all silly like the mayor.